The Agri-weather outlook is sponsored by Excalia fungicide from Valent USA.
Could warmer weather finally be headed our way? Here's John with our Agri-weather outlook.
Minor confession to begin with. Last week's forecast had the cold weather of the first week exactly correct, but the second week, instead of lingering cold, well, we're going to move into some milder weather as the bitter cold is retreating. I'll explain what's going on with that. The other thing that's going on, the dry winter weather, northern plains and Great Lakes area will, for the most part, continue. Not to say there won't be any snow or precipitation, it just will not be significant. We've just had a dry go of things over the far northern tier of states, really since Christmas. The stormy weather in the U.S. will continue to be the southwest California, the Pacific coast, largely getting a bit of a break as we go into a little bit of a different weather pattern. Jet stream is meandering from west to east as it does. We've cooled things down a little bit in the south. We've also warmed things up greatly as the really frigid weather this weekend has retreated back up to about Hudson Bay. It's not going to be that much of a melt, though. Places like eastern North Dakota, northern Minnesota may get a day or two this week where it pops up above 32 for a few hours in the afternoon or a day or so, but it's likely to generally stay below freezing. Western Dakotas will have a little more warmth, especially western South Dakota. The Rockies, of course, remain cold, and as is common this time of year, the southeastern part of the country, warm air and humid air will surge northward periodically out of the Gulf, and then will be replaced by not Arctic air, but some cold weather as fronts pass through, and these can still produce some scattered frosts, at least at night, even all the way down perhaps as far as near the Gulf Coast. As we head into the second week, I do expect cold weather to begin returning. Now we're talking the middle of February. This frigid weather will not be the kind of cold that we had at the end of January, but it will be fairly cold, I expect, and generally freezing weather will persist across the northern part of the U.S. The south will be nothing but cool to mild, and really the only really warm places consistently are the far southwest and southern parts of Florida. As far as precipitation goes this week, not much for the middle part of the country at all. Anything that falls will be nuisance amounts, maybe some drizzle. Of course, with the temperatures, yeah, there could be some freezing drizzle or some flurries or that type of thing, but it would be in small doses, of course, right? There will be at least one East Coast weather system that will bring rain surprisingly far north into the Middle West and snows primarily Quebec, Southeast Ontario, and parts of New England. The Rocky Mountains northern parts will be getting some snow, but for the most part, the West is looking dry for the next couple of weeks. California missing out after what was a very rainy middle of the winter. They're going dry. There will be a continuation of this precipitation pattern along the eastern seaboard, and the middle part of the United States, south to north, will continue to be primarily dry.